Jakari Jackson and David Knight. We will start going to your phone calls interspersed with some of the clips we played earlier, but we were just getting into Arte Saveda saying, hey, don't worry about registration leading to confiscation. That's ridiculous. Who ever heard of that? Meanwhile, they just had a speech up there where the city councilman's like, hey, don't worry. First, we're going to register. Then your sign about gun ban, you're going to need that sign because that's what we're going to do. And then the crowd's all laughing and cheering, and a woman comes up with her hand and kind of hits him in the back, and they're grabbing at his sign, and then the media's like, look at that troublemaking gun owner over there. And we don't want your guns. It's like, folks, this is military operations. They found in World War I. If you had speakers blaring, this is not an assault. Even though troops were coming over, the French and Germans did it back and forth on each other, that people wouldn't fight as hard. So they just, it's like in Saving Private Ryan where the German soldiers, they're trying to stab each other, and the American soldier starts getting the upper hand. The guy's like, oh no, let's be friends. Let's be friends. We're not fighting now. And the guy gives up, and then he's like, slides that knife in. We don't want your guns. There's no bullets. There's nothing going on. The Federal Reserve it in private. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's exactly right. Now, I just want to talk about a little bit about their views. These people at this rally, they just want reasonable restrictions, and one of those restrictions is to have people who have felony offenses, not be able to have their right to bear arms. Now, to many people, it may sound reasonable. They think about felonies as murder or heavy drug trafficking, but we have the article on Infowars.com about a man who was arrested, charged with felony offenses for releasing balloons. And you think about this is the new bar, or should I say the bar has been lowered. You can see you can see it right there. Man faces 5 years in prison for releasing balloons.
And people say, that's Infowars.com. Well, go to the bottom then and click on the Sun Sentinel newspaper. He's facing 5 to 7 years for releasing 3 heart-shaped balloons.
Yeah, so that's the new bar.
For environmental crimes.
Yeah, so if you release balloons,
he wouldn't be able to have guns because he let those balloons go.
Because he would have a felony if he's charged with that. And on that same account, we can go to clip number 7 here, and this is Acevedo talking about the slippery slope of gun registration.
Here it is.
I would really like to see an anti-gun trafficking federal law to keep people from trafficking guns to folks that shouldn't have them. I know that Alex and a lot of his viewers are worried about that slippery slope. But like I've told Alex before, and I feel this in my heart of hearts, the right to bear arms has been part of our nation's history. I mean, it was a huge part of our nation's history. It's something that we have to support, but we protect it by taking common sense steps to do a better job keeping guns out of the wrong people's hands. Over there in Colorado, in Aurora, where that guy would have been nice to be able to have something where we could at least take possession of those firearms for safekeeping until they can work through their issues.
So there you go. He said, I'd at least like to have access to those guns temporarily, pre-crime, because he had...
But meanwhile, he was planning it. He told everyone it's now come out in court. He was on 7 drugs.
Right.
In a mind-controlled DARPA program. Gee, wonder why the top Air Force psych warfare specialist didn't tell the police, but now, because it's on record, goes, oh, well, I did. Oh, they never stop him. I wonder why. And Adam Lanza had his guns illegally. He tried to buy guns 5 times.
Oh, yeah. But look at what Acevedo's doing. He's doing the typical Democrat talking points. He comes out and he says, we only want to take guns away from criminals, people who are convicted felons. We're going to give them due process, and then they shouldn't have guns anymore because they've been judged to be dangerous to the community. And like Jakari just pointed out, a felony is not what you think of as a felony. It could be releasing a couple of balloons on the beach and then getting hit with a felony charge. It could be from the interview that you had earlier this week, Jakari, with
Antonio Beeler.
Yeah.
And Alex, that situation. He was arrested for filming police attacking somebody else.
Here in Austin.
Yeah, here in Austin. And then he was attacked by the police. This is all on camera. We've shown it on Infowars.
He's backing away. They say he assaulted them.
Yeah, and then they say that he spit on them. You can see the police are wrestling him to the ground. He has his hands up like this, like I'm not resisting, and they try to slam him to the ground. A pretty pathetic attempt, if I might add so myself. But they're trying to slam the guy to the ground, and he said, I'm not resisting, but, now they're trying to charge him with felonies for filming police.
And then they'll get his guns, don't worry.
And Acevedo supported that. He supported the officers who were lying, okay, and he pushed for maximum charges on this guy.
And it's always, we love the veterans. The truth is they hate him because he's an Army Ranger, from Iraq and Kosovo.
Yeah.
We'll show you.
Yeah. But it's exactly, what we're talking about. They're taking a fundamental right and they're turning it into a government-granted privilege. And first he tells people, don't worry, we're only going to take rights away from convicted felons. But then later he turns it to anybody that a psychiatrist points a finger at.
And that's what they're calling for. They have a bill in the Texas legislature where the police just say they think you're acting mentally ill and your guns are gone.
Exactly.
I mean, that's Soviet Union. But it's okay because Arte Acevedo's so nice.
And that's what
he's a friendly guy.
He is a friendly guy. I'll give him that. He is a friendly guy.
Just don't turn your back on him. We'll be right back.
And I'll let David introduce this one because he actually asked the question.
Well, basically, we just wanted to see if he's having trouble getting ammunition. There's reports, it was actually linked to Drudge, I think 2 or 3 days ago, where they're talking about police departments couldn't get ammunition. The Tennessee Highway Patrol couldn't get ammunition. The lead story was some police department where they're putting off their qualification because they couldn't get sufficient ammunition. So I asked Art Acevedo if the Austin Police Department was having any trouble getting ammunition. Here's what he said. Are you having any trouble getting ammunition?
No, actually, no.
So when we heard that, we went out and we looked around Austin to see if we could buy any ammunition from sporting goods stores. And we
Slim pickings.
Yeah.
And that piece is tonight.
No, it'll be tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night. Yeah. And to be clear, I was in an academy about a month ago buying ammo, and you have to go to the front register to get one box of 223, 308, or 40 or 9, all the government stuff. And I was told by the guys behind the counter, well, trucks come in, there's guys waiting. Sometimes it's the police. We try to help them out. You found one article out of East Texas where the gun shop said they give cops preferential treatment. So I sent you over there to see, let's show people there's real, because I told Watson about this actually it was a month and a half ago before anybody had the news that they were rationing ammo. And for whatever reason, he's a great writer. He had too much on his plate. Now it's news. But I was there at Academy, and then I called around at other academies. They go, no, you get one box. You guys experienced that same thing, correct?
Oh, yeah. We did some hidden camera stuff. I believe we all went out. I went to one of the academies here in Austin, and I go to the front counter. Well, first I go back to the gun bar, and, they're more the desired ammunition, your 223s, your 9mm. They kept those up front. So I go back up front to the customer service desk, and I say, hey, do you have any 223s? They say, yes, but you can only buy one box. I was like, okay. So I pull out my money, and the guy behind the cashier girl, he said, well, you can buy 2 if you have somebody else buy 1. But the cashier girl is telling me, no, this is our last box. So I'm like, okay, do you have 1 box, or can I buy 2 if I'm with somebody else? Then the guy says, okay, just let the guy buy 2. But I only had enough money for 1, so I just bought 1. And
that was that Remington Boar Killer.
Yeah, that's
223.
That's the one you saw. We have back there in the office. So it definitely is bullet rationing, and even they resorted to the point of lying to you. If you go in there, you want to get more than 1 box, and just instead of saying, sir, you can only get 1 box, like, no, this is our last box.
Well, see, I was told more because there was 3 guys, and I bought a couple shotguns. And one guy was shaking because it was me. And they go, don't worry, he's just a weekend guy. And of course, all these listeners come up shaking my hand. And I go, okay, I want that shotgun, and I want that shotgun, because you can't ever have enough shotguns, semi-autos. And the guy's going, you can't have 2. You can't have 2. And
why can't you buy 2?
Well, he goes, we got to fill out an ATF report, that where you buy 2 rifles. And the manager goes, no, we don't. And I'm going, well, now tell me, how do I get 223 more than just 1 box? And he goes, well, we were selling it right out of the truck to whoever got there first. We try to help the police out first. So I think Aceveda, maybe he's getting it from the feds, Homeland Security. I mean,
he's certainly got connections.
Oh, yeah.
He's up all week with talking to Biden.
And he's not just standing behind him. He's on the news with the vice president.
Yeah, and he's very confident. He said, no, I have no problems getting ammunition.
El Diablo.
We've seen the articles in other organizations, police organizations, where they're having trouble getting ammunition. Some gun stores are even making their own now, just to supply.
And we have to understand, too, we touched on it at the very end of the, just before the break, but the argument that he's using, the standard Democrat talking points is, don't worry, we're only coming after dangerous felons, and they've had due process. But then as they talk, they spin it and say, and anybody that a psychiatrist deems to be dodgy, a little bit dodgy.
So it's not a court, it's the psychiatrist, psychologists that are public drug reps pushing drugs on kids. Their answer is, all our Prozac heads keep shooting everybody up on, so now let's put more people on it.
And you lose due process. And not only does that person lose due process, but everybody in the household loses due process. Remember, there's that story that we covered, I don't remember where it was, but the kid had...
the water gun.
The water gun. And they went in and confiscated the dad's guns.
Well, that was on Monday. The bullies are beating them up, so they joke we could squirt them with water guns. I brought water guns to school. I mean, you name it. We threw footballs at each other all day. I mean, whatever. Of course, they banned dodgeball.
There it is right there on the screen.
Yeah, there it is. And they come to the house and they go, well, when he moves out when he's 18, the kid's 10, you can have your guns back, maybe.
Yeah, maybe, took $6,500 worth of guns from him. Just confiscated them. Because his son...
No judge, no jury, no nothing, just the police are gone.
Because they had registration information on him. They knew that he had a gun. Because there were other kids, they didn't go after the other family.
And again, that's Long Island. So the issue here is they just do whatever they want now.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not even a law to do that. And they want that nationwide, just color of law. Folks, tyranny is when they do whatever they want. And it's here. And by the way, you notice they're announcing, we're going to take the federal pension funds to prop up the derivatives now, and we're going to take your 401k now, or part of it. And you know what? There is that new thing on investments, that new extra tax, and there is that payroll tax on poor people.
Right.
And I mean, how long can they get away with this level of con artistry?
I mean, I just don't get why people can't see it, because I used to work for the city of Tulsa back when I still lived in Oklahoma. And when I was, coming in and filling out all my paperwork, they asked me, would you like to invest in the retirement plan? And I just seen on 60 Minutes, it was some town, I can't remember where it was. They just came in and took everybody's retirement plans who worked for the city for, 30 plus years. So a lady's looking at me across the desk like, do you want to sign up for our retirement plan? I'm not going to be a retirement plan.
You know why they think it's all about to collapse? You got hundreds of cities, even some big ones going under all over, not just in Michigan, but California, you name it. In the last 3-4 years, the city managers and 3 or 4 other key people, some of them getting paid $800,000 a year in even small towns that's come out in California.
Doesn't somebody in California make more money than Obama?
No. There's a city manager in a small town that made $800,000. Why not? They can do whatever they want. Guys, type in California bureaucrats paid $800,000. It was like $844,000. But the point is, they've quietly moved into their other private pension funds that they know have been protected. And they're going to loot everybody else's. I mean, you cops following these criminals' orders, you really think you're going to take our guns and not have everything you've got taken? I mean, Mexico has triple the resources in major studies you can look up that the U.S. does. Oil, gold, timber, soils, volcanic. I mean, the whole thing's, except for a little bit of the north, is the best soil in the world. And Mexico can't get anything going because the El Jefes don't want people doing well. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Who reportedly had a combined salary of $1.6 million. Oscar Hernandez, the mayor of Bell, California, and the city council accepted the resignation of the city manager, Robert Rizzo, assistant city manager, Angela, how do you say that, Spacisa, and police chief, Randy Adams, who reportedly had a combined salary of $1.6 million. And see, that's not even the worst one. People in California finally went, you're taking my house for property taxes because I can't pay it, if I have a medical issue or whatever, and the insurance won't cover it. You're taking my house and you make $800,000 a year in a town of 50,000 people?
Yeah, that's how it works. That's exactly how it works.
And we've already seen precedents of this. In Illinois, they had the teachers' union, and the teachers' employees had a state pension. And of course, the state comes in and borrows against it to the hilt. And that was one of the things that they came in and said, let's try to, they actually voted, the teachers actually voted to have private pensions. So they would actually have an account with their name on it, and they had transparency to see what was there. But now they're going to come after the private pension. And they're not going to borrow it. They're just
look at Europe in the final orgy. They're going after the billionaires now who aren't on the inside group and taking all their money. And it turns out the really insider guys are all tax exempt.
Oh, yeah, because they're giving you a haircut while they just rip money out of your account. And it's amazing to me that people don't think that it can happen here.
Notice the first week they reported on it, and now you never hear about it again.
Right.
And they took 100% of some accounts.
Yeah.
Because why not? They got away with 10%. Because there's no guns in Cyprus. Only the government has them. And, well, I've talked to folks that have been to Cyprus. It's highly paramilitary. Soldier cops with machine guns, but you don't have them. And guess what? You don't have your bank account either.
Wow.
All right, I want to go to some phone calls, but we never got to clip number 2, which I guess is a repeat of Martinez. And I guess Art Aceveda. I think the biggest thing is that they went out and intimidated the 2 guys with pro-gun signs.